In the turbulent landscape of the 1980s, the United States Air Force initiated a competition that would fundamentally alter the trajectory of aviation history forever: the Advanced Tactical Fighter (ATF) program. This was not merely a procurement exercise. It was a strategic imperative born out of the Cold War's final decade. The goal was explicit and ambitious: to create a worthy successor to the legendary F-15 Eagle, a machine capable of confronting emerging Soviet threats with absolute confidence. The stakes could not have been higher, as the winner would define air superiority for generations. Two industrial titans stepped forward to present their visions of the future, each offering a radically different interpretation of what a fifth-generation fighter should be. On one side stood Lockheed Martin with the YF-22. On the other, the collaborative team of Northrop and McDonnell Douglas with the YF-23, nicknamed the Black Widow 2. While the F-22 Raptor is today considered the undisputed king of the skies, the haunting truth remains debated by experts and aviation enthusiasts alike. In terms of raw performance, speed, and stealth, the aircraft that was rejected may have actually been a superior machine. The story of the YF-23 is not just about engineering. It is a complex narrative involving doctrine, politics, corporate reputation, and the human psychology of risk. Before revealing why the Pentagon allowed this engineering marvel to fade into history, it is essential to understand the depth of the technology involved and the specific pressures that influence the decision-makers. The legacy of the Black Widow 2 serves as a poignant reminder that in military procurement, being the best technical athlete is not always enough if you are not the most fit in the system of your time. Designed from the future, YF-23 looked like nothing we've never seen before. To observers accustomed to the conventional tubular fuselages and distinct tail structures of previous generations, the Black Widow 2 appeared to be a visitor from the 22nd century. Its aesthetic was defined by diamond-shaped wings and an imposing, elongated profile that suggested speed even when stationary. This design was not merely stylistic, it was a manifestation of a specific philosophical approach to air warfare. While the future Raptor's design sought a balance between agility and stealth, attempting to marry the old world of dogfighting with the new world of low observability, the Northrop team bet on technological extremism. The Black Widow 2 was designed to be virtually invisible, not just to radar, but also to infrared sensors. This dual-layer approach to stealth was far more aggressive than what was seen in the competing prototype. The engineering team at Northrop understood that detection comes in many forms. To counter radar, the shape was optimized to deflect signals away from the source. However, to counter heat-seeking systems, they employed a revolutionary configuration. Its engines were buried deep within the fuselage, shielding the heat source from direct line of sight from the ground. Furthermore, the exhausts were placed on the upper surface of the aircraft, using special cooling troughs, so that the heat signature was almost undetectable from below. In testing, the YF-23 proved to be significantly faster and stealthier than its rival, reaching supercruise speeds that left evaluators stunned. This capability to sustain supersonic flight without the fuel-guzzling use of afterburners was a critical advantage, yet it was not the sole factor in the competition. The supercruise advantage and stealth philosophy. The Advanced Tactical Fighter competition was not just about who was the most invisible, it was about how the air war of the future would be won. The YF-23 was a natural supercruise. It could fly at supersonic speeds without using afterburners for significantly longer than the Lockheed prototype. This endurance at high speed offered tactical advantage in terms of rapid response and energy management during engagements. However, the Air Force had a historical obsession that clashed with this high-speed, low-observable philosophy: agility in close-quarters combat, or the dogfight. This is where the design philosophies collided violently. The YF-22 utilized thrust vectoring nozzles to perform maneuvers that defied physics, allowing it to rotate on its own vertical axis while the nose pointed in a completely different direction than its flight path. This technology gave the Raptor a kinetic energy advantage in visual range combat, allowing it to outturn adversaries in ways previously impossible. Northrop, for its part, decided to omit thrust vectoring on the YF-23. Its engineers argued that the additional weight and complexity of moving nozzles compromised both stealth and speed. They believed that the added mechanical costs created more radar reflections and maintenance headaches. Northrop's engineers held a firm conviction regarding the nature of future warfare. They believed that in the warfare of the future, an aircraft so fast and stealthy would never actually enter a dogfight. The doctrine was simple. The YF-23 would shoot down the enemy from 100 kilometers away before they even knew an intruder was on their radar. In this vision, close quarters agility was obsolete, as the Black Widow 2 would ensure no enemy got closer to require it. This decision, rooted in logical, strategic foresight, ultimately became its death sentence. The Air Force leadership, comprised of pilots who valued the tangible feel of control and the proven metrics of maneuverability, struggled to embrace a doctrine that relied entirely on never being seen, the demonstration phase, psychology of the data. During demonstration flights, the difference in presentation became stark. Lockheed's prototype performed spectacular maneuvers that enamored the generals and test pilots. The YF-22 felt like a traditional fighter with superiority, bridging the gap between the familiar F-22 heritage and the new technological. In contrast, the YF-23 felt like a surgical precision instrument. It was efficient, deadly, and cold. Although the YF-23 was perfectly capable of maneuvering, it lacked that visual impact and post-stall agility that the Raptor's control system allowed. The YF-22 could dance in the sky. The YF-23 simply sliced through it. Ultimately, the Air Force chose the option that felt more familiar and safer for its fighter pilots, fearing that Northrop's radical design was too risky or difficult to master in real confrontation. The human element cannot be overstated in these decisions. Pilots and commanders needed to feel confident that if technology failed and the missiles ran out, their aircraft could still survive a knife fight. The YF-23 asked them to trust that the knife fight would never happen. The YF-22 promised they could win it if it did. Even in live fire testing, there was a difference in perception. The YF-22 was the first to fire missiles and perform high-G maneuvers publicly, demonstrating that it was a weapons platform nearly ready for combat. The YF-23 team was more cautious, focusing on the collection of pure flight and stealth data. In the end, confidence is a currency just as valuable as technology and defense contracts. The Black Widow 2 was the best Raptor on the track, but the Raptor was the one that knew how to sell itself to the jury, ensuring the airframe could withstand the extreme stresses generated during maneuvers. Corporate politics and risk management. Beyond supercruise speeds and radar signatures, the fate of the YF-23 was decided in the corridors of Washington. At the time, Northrop had a complicated reputation in engineering. They were coming off the development of the B-2 Spirit rocket, a program that, while technologically successful, suffered from massive delays and costs that skyrocketed to astronomical levels. The B-2 was a miracle of engineering, but it was also a miracle of budget overruns. Air Force officials feared that awarding the contract for the United States primary fighter might result in another financial bottomless pit. In the high-stakes world of defense contracting, past performance is often weighed as heavily as future potential. Lockheed Martin, in contrast, presented a management plan that seemed much more solid and predictable. They projected an image of stability and reliability that appealed to bureaucrats wary of congressional hearings regarding cost overruns. Furthermore, the design of the YF-22 was perceived as less risky from a maintenance and infrastructure standpoint. The YF-23 was so advanced that it required materials and manufacturing processes that were still in their infancy. The Air Force wasn't just buying a plane, it was buying a guarantee that the program wouldn't collapse under its own technical weight. Choosing the YF-23 would have required investing in new supply chains and training maintenance crews on unfamiliar technologies. Choosing the YF-22 was a prudent path, minimizing industrial risk even if it meant sacrificing some performance ceiling. The verdict and immediate aftermath. On April 23, 1991, the news broke. The YF-22 had won. The decision sent shockwaves through the aviation community, though it was not entirely unexpected given the political undercurrents. The two YF-23 prototypes were eventually sent to museums, becoming relics of what could have been the pinnacle of aeronautical engineering. They sat in hangars not as failures, but as monuments to a road not taken. However, the legacy of the Black Widow II did not die that day. Many of the breakthroughs in composite materials and infrared signature reduction that Northrop perfected for the YF-23 were later integrated into other secret projects and the development of next-generation autonomous drones. The technology lived on, even if the airframe did not. The cancellation marked the end of an era where pure performance could win contracts without regard to political and industrial stability. It highlighted a shift in the Pentagon's priorities from seeking the absolute peak of capability to seeking the most sustainable. The YF-23 was a masterpiece of optimization, but the military machine preferred a vehicle that was easier to drive, even if it was slightly slower. A modern retrospective, the Pacific strategy. Today, more than 30 years later, the debate has reignited with new intensity. Some analysts suggest that if the United States had chosen the YF-23, it would now possess an aircraft with much greater range, ideal for the vast distances of the Pacific Ocean in a potential conflict with foreign powers. The strategic landscape has shifted from the European plains of the Cold War to the vast maritime expanse of the Indo-Pacific. In this theater, range and stealth are paramount. The ability to supercruise long distances without revealing a heat signature is arguably more valuable than the ability to outturn an enemy in a visual dogfight. The F-22 Raptor is undoubtedly the current gold standard and the absolute owner of the skies, but it is a plane designed for a type of combat that may never happen. Modern air defense systems are so advanced that engaging in close-quarters combat is increasingly seen as a failure of strategy rather than a goal. The YF-23, with its emphasis on extreme stealth and pure speed, seems to have been designed for an era that is only just beginning. Its design philosophy anticipated the drone-heavy, long-range missile engagements that characterize modern military theory. The range advantage alone would have provided US forces with greater flexibility in projecting power across the Pacific, without relying as heavily on forward bases that are vulnerable to attack. Conclusion: the apex predator consumed by prudence. The story of the YF-23 Black Widow II stands as a testament to human ingenuity and a milestone in the evolution of modern air warfare. It remains a reminder that sometimes being the best is not enough if you are not the most fit for the system of your time. It was an apex predator of the air that used physics as one of the weapons. It was ultimately consumed by politics and prudence. The aircraft represented a leap of faith into a future where stealth and speed rendered agility obsolete, but the guardians of the sky were not ready to let go of the past. It asked too much of the infrastructure, the budget officers, and the pilot culture of the early 1990s. Yet, as tensions rise in the Pacific and the need for long-range, high-speed interceptors grows, the ghost of the Black Widow II lingers over the hangars of the Air Force. It challenges us to question whether the safe choice was the right choice, and whether the king of the skies today might have been dethroned by the spider that got away. If you enjoyed this story about the plane that could have changed the world, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more content on military engineering and cutting-edge technology. Do you think the Air Force made a mistake in rejecting the YF-23? Leave your comment below. Until next time.